Liam didn't believe in curses, ghosts, or anything that couldn't be explained by science. He was the kind of person who checked the weather app before deciding what to wear and read reviews before watching a movie. So when the new app started trending death time, he didn't think twice about calling it fake. "It's just a scare app," Liam said, rolling his eyes as he looked at his phone. "Like that one where it pretends to read your mind." "It's not," said his best friend Ava, pushing her dark hair behind her ear. "People say it gives you the exact time of your death, like down to the second." Liam raised an eyebrow. "And people believe that?" Ava shrugged. "It's all over TikTok, the countdowns, the reaction. One guy said it told him he had 3 hours left and he made a goodbye video. Super dramatic." Liam laughed. "And I bet he's still posting." "Right? Yeah, probably lying to get views." Ava smiled, but her eyes lingered on the app's icon on her phone screen. A black hourglass over a red background. They were sitting on the steps behind their high school, waiting for last period to end. The bell would ring soon, but right now, all anyone could talk about was death time. "Download it," Ava dared. "No way," Liam said, though he was already unlocking his phone. "It probably just picks a random time and sends fake alerts." "I downloaded it," Ava said casually. "Mine says I have 87 years. I'll be like 105. "Nice," Liam chuckled. "You'll be the world's oldest TikToker." He opened the App Store and typed in "death time." Sure enough, it popped up with hundreds of reviews and a 5-star rating. That surprised him. He tapped "install." The app downloaded quickly. When he opened it, a message appeared in bold white letters. "Do you wish to know the exact moment your life will end?" Below that, 2 buttons, yes or no. He looked at Ava. "You're sure this didn't ask for like access to your camera and blood type?" "Just press yes, drama queen." Liam tapped yes. The screen went black. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then white numbers flashed across the screen. Days, 3 hours, 22 minutes, 16 seconds. A slow beep echoed through the phone's speaker, like a heart monitor in reverse. A chill slid down Liam's back. "That's creepy," he said, trying to laugh. 7 days? Really? Guess you better start writing your will, Ava joked. "Right. My Xbox and half a granola bar. All yours." The bell rang, and students began pouring out of the building. Liam and Ava stood up, joining the flow of chatter and footsteps. "You know it's just a prank," Liam said as they walked toward the parking lot. "Probably," Ava said, though she glanced at his phone again. That night, Liam sat in bed, scrolling through videos of people reacting to their death time countdowns. Some cried. Some made jokes. Others tried to do wild stunts before their time ran out. A few claimed the app was real, saying someone close to them had died right when the timer hit 0. But it was the internet. Everyone exaggerated. Still, when Liam looked at his own countdown again, now reading 6 days, 22 hours, 41 minutes, he felt a small knot tighten in his stomach. He placed the phone face down on his desk. "It's just a dumb app," he whispered to himself. But in the silence of his room, the numbers kept ticking down. The next morning, Liam's phone buzzed as his alarm went off. He groaned, reached for it, and by reflex, tapped the screen. But before he could silence the alarm, the app opened. Days, 12 hours, 3 minutes, 27 seconds. He quickly exited it and rubbed his eyes. "Weird glitch," he mumbled, tossing the phone onto his bed. The timer was still running, and part of him didn't like that it was so exact. Almost too exact. At school, death time was the main topic in every hallway. People were comparing countdowns, making jokes, filming death day skits. One kid pretended to drop dead in the middle of the cafeteria, only to jump up laughing. A second later, "See?" Liam said to Ava as they watched from their lunch table. "It's all a big joke, a trend, like that ghost filter thing last year." "Maybe," Ava said, picking at her fries, "but some people are freaking out." A girl in my biology class was crying because hers says she has 4 days left. Liam raised an eyebrow. Then she needs to delete the app and get a grip. I tried, Ava said. I told her to delete it. She said she already tried and it came back. What do you mean it came back? She uninstalled it. But it reinstalled itself an hour later. Same countdown, same timer. Liam frowned. That wasn't normal. Probably a virus or a prank app underneath, like one of those things that hijacks your notifications. Yeah. Maybe, Ava said softly, but Liam could tell she wasn't convinced. During their free period, Liam met up with some friends by the library. Chris, their class clown, had everyone gathered around. Mine says I've got 5 hours left, Chris announced with a grin. So I'm skipping homework. If I'm gonna die, I'm not going down doing algebra. A few people laughed, though it sounded forced. You gonna live stream your last moments? Someone joked. Chris grinned. Maybe I'll do a countdown. Party, balloons, cake, confetti. Happy death day to me, Liam smirked. You'll be fine, we'll see you in class tomorrow. Yeah, unless I get struck by lightning or something. Chris walked off, still laughing, but Ava had gone quiet beside Liam. What's up? He asked. I don't like this. Because of Chris? No. Because of what's happening online. They found a quiet bench in the courtyard. Ava pulled out her phone and opened a Reddit post titled, "My brother's countdown ended, and he actually died." The post was short, written just hours before. The user described how their older brother had laughed at the app like everyone else, but when his countdown hit 0, he collapsed while walking the dog. No warning, no illness, just gone. People, lie online, Liam said quickly. I know, but this doesn't feel like a lie. Liam didn't answer. He didn't want to admit that the story had made the hairs on his arms stand up. Later that afternoon, they heard the sirens. Everyone gathered at the front of the school, watching as an ambulance pulled up. Teachers tried to keep students calm, but the rumors spread fast. Someone had collapsed behind the gym. Liam's heart dropped when he saw a group of students whispering, pointing. One of them had tears running down her face. It was Chris, or had been by the time the school made the official announcement. The story was already everywhere. Chris had suffered a sudden, unexplained seizure at 3:47 p.m. That was the exact time his countdown had hit 0. He was healthy, someone said. No conditions, no warnings. Liam couldn't speak. He just sat there, staring at the ground, his stomach tight and cold. He didn't believe in supernatural stuff, he really didn't. But now the app had been a joke. Now it wasn't funny anymore. That night, Liam opened Death Time again. He didn't want to, but he had to know. Days, 1 hour, 12 minutes, 44 seconds. He tried deleting it, tapped and held the icon, chose uninstall, confirmed it, gone. He tossed the phone onto his pillow and let out a breath. Good riddance. But when he picked up the phone 10 minutes later to text Ava, the icon was back. The hourglass, the red background. He tapped it. The timer had never stopped. By morning, the school was different. The halls were quieter. Conversations were whispers. Everyone had heard the same thing. Chris died when his countdown reached 0. Not an hour later, not a day before. At the exact minute. Posters for prom, hung beside lockers like reminders of a world that no longer felt real. Liam walked past them, his hands in his pockets, trying to ignore the way students glanced at him and Ava. Word had spread that they were with Chris the day before. He met Ava by the science wing. She didn't say hi, she just held up her phone. 3 more, she said softly. Liam stared at the screen. It was a screenshot from a Facebook group called Death Time Survivors. 3 people had died overnight, each one right as their timer. Hit 0, one had drowned in a bathtub. Another collapsed at work. The last was found in bed, peaceful, like they'd just fallen asleep. All had shared their countdowns earlier that day. Liam felt his chest tighten. This can't be real. I thought it wasn't. But Liam, the numbers are growing. The local news picked up Chris's story by lunchtime. Then a larger station ran a segment about a strange new app predicting deaths. The anchor smiled through it like it was just a spooky Halloween prank, but the interview with Chris's parents was anything but funny. They said he'd shown them the timer, that they had laughed too, and that he died with a smile on his face, thinking it was all a joke. Liam turned the TV off. In class, teachers tried to keep things normal. Some even banned phones outright. But the rule didn't work. Not when half the students were refreshing their timers under their desks or whispering about whose countdown was next. One girl burst into tears in the middle of English class. Hers said she had 13 hours left. Nobody laughed this time. That night, Liam sat at his desk staring at his laptop screen. He'd already searched everything. Death time origin, is death time real, how to delete death time permanently. But all he found were rumors, panicked videos, and horror stories. The app had no company name, no creator listed, no privacy policy. It didn't even ask for permissions. He opened it again. He couldn't help it. Days, 10 hours, 3 minutes, 4 seconds. He rubbed his hands through his hair, then grabbed his phone and messaged Ava. Liam, still there? She replied almost instantly. Ava, yeah, you okay? Liam, not really. I keep hoping it's just a big glitch or prank. But Chris is dead. Others are too. Ava, I know. I can't stop checking mine either. Liam, what's your time? Ava, 8 days. We're only 3 days apart. Liam stared at her message. Somehow that made it worse. If this was real and it was starting to feel like it was, then Ava didn't have much more time than him. He tried to joke to ease the pressure. Liam, guess we're dying young and famous. Ava, not funny. Liam, sorry, just scared, I guess. Ava, me too. They didn't talk after that, but Liam didn't put his phone down. He left the app open on his desk, watching the numbers tick down, second by second. Each one felt like a heartbeat lost. Before bed, Liam tried one last thing. He reset his phone completely, factory settings, wiped everything. It took over an hour. When it was done, he started it up again, breathing deeply like he'd just escaped something. But as soon as the home screen appeared, there it was, the icon. The red hourglass. He didn't tap it. He didn't need to. He already knew what it would say. Liam didn't sleep that night. He lay in bed, eyes open, watching the soft glow of his alarm clock shift from 1 hour to the next. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw numbers. His countdown, Ava's countdown, Chris's gone to zero countdown. He tried to tell himself it was a trick, an elaborate prank or some viral game, but nothing made sense anymore. By morning, he'd made up his mind he was going to find out where the app came from. At school, he found Ava already waiting by the library steps. She had her laptop in one hand and a tired look in her eyes. "You didn't sleep either, huh?" he said. She shook her head. "Been reading forums all night. You?" "Same. It's like the app just showed up out of nowhere. No company, no app store history before last week. It's not even listed under a developer name." "I know," she said, opening her laptop. "Look at this." She showed him a post from a message board called Code Crypts. It was written by someone claiming they'd tried to decompile the app's code. It's not written in any known programming language. Parts of it look like code, but other parts don't. They read more like symbols or glyphs, like something ancient or alien. Liam frowned. "You believe that?" "I don't know, but I believe something's seriously wrong." They sat together during lunch, researching quietly. The cafeteria around them buzzed with nervous energy. 2 more students were missing that day. One had a countdown that ended the night before. The others were set to expire at 2 p.m. Everyone was watching the clock. At exactly 2 someone screamed from the science wing. By 3 the school sent everyone home early. That evening, Liam got a call from Ava. "Don't freak out," she said, "but I tried to delete the app again. And? It changed." "What do you mean?" "I uninstalled it like usual, but when it came back, the icon was different. The hourglass is cracked now, and when I opened it, there was a message." Liam stood up from his chair. "What message?" Ava hesitated. "It said, 'You cannot escape what has already begun.' Then it showed my countdown again." Liam's mouth went dry. He looked at his phone. His app icon hadn't changed. It was still the same. He opened it. Days, 14 hours, 6 minutes, 41 seconds, no message, no crack. But he believed Ava. That night they met at the local library. It was mostly empty, quiet except for the hum of the lights and the turning of old pages. They went to the back where the computers were and began digging through everything. Old chat rooms, blog posts, hacker forums. One thread caught Liam's eye. It was short and most of the replies had been deleted, but the original post stayed. "Death time is not a game. It predicts the time you are taken, not when you die, when you're chosen. Stop looking. You won't like what you find." "No." Replies, "No likes, posted 3 days ago, taken." Liam stared at the words. "Do you think it means people aren't just dying, that they're being removed?" Ava looked at him, her eyes wide. "Removed by what?" Liam didn't answer. He didn't know. They left the library before closing. Outside, the wind had picked up. The streetlights flickered as they walked home. "I think it's watching us," Ava said suddenly. "What?" "The app. I think it's aware." Liam wanted to laugh, but the sound caught in his throat. He looked down at his phone. The screen lit up on its own. The app opened without him touching it. His timer blinked once, like it was acknowledging him. Then the countdown kept going. Liam didn't go to school the next day. Neither did Ava. Instead, they met at her house and set up camp in her basement, a place filled with beanbags, bookshelves, and an old couch that had been there since middle school. Ava's parents were at work, and her younger brother was at a friend's place, so they had the space to themselves. Liam brought energy drinks and a notepad. Ava had her laptop open with about 15 tabs running at once. "Okay," she said, pushing up her sleeves. "Let's assume this isn't supernatural. What if it's tech? Just really advanced tech?" Liam sat on the floor. "Like AI? Or some kind of government experiment? What if the app's using biometric data, or tracking something we don't understand? I mean, our phones already listen to us. Maybe this app does more than that." "Sure," Liam said, "but that doesn't explain the deaths lining up exactly with the timers, or the app reinstalling itself." "Unless it's a virus," Ava suggested. "Something coded to self-replicate. Something designed to mimic intelligence." Liam wasn't convinced. "Even the best malware can't predict the future." Ava clicked open a video. "Then look at this." It was a screen recording, posted by someone who claimed to be a cybersecurity expert. He'd downloaded the app on an isolated device, no SIM card, no Wi-Fi, and watched as it somehow still updated its timer. When he opened the device a second time, the app spoke to him, not in a voice, in his own handwriting. It scrawled a message across the screen that said, "You shouldn't have looked." Liam's skin prickled. "I think it's bigger than just one app," Ava said. "I think this is a system, something beyond anything we've seen." "You're saying someone built this? Like on purpose?" Ava hesitated. "Or something else. Built it." They fell silent. The idea felt too big, too impossible. But so did dying exactly when a phone said you would. Liam leaned back against the couch. "There has to be a creator. Someone made this. Someone uploaded it. Someone out there knows what this is. I've been trying to trace the original file, Ava said, but every download source leads back to a scrambled server. Some are registered in random places, Iceland, Russia, even Antarctica. It doesn't make sense. Liam looked at her. What if it wasn't uploaded like a normal app? She paused. What do you mean? What if it appeared? Ava blinked. Like, just showed up? From nowhere? Yeah. What if it's not? From this world at all? She didn't laugh. Not this time. Instead, she opened a new search and typed, "Death time before 2025. They found almost nothing. Almost one result stood out. A grainy, scanned newspaper article from 1999. It mentioned a small town in Canada where people received black slips of paper in the mail with a date and time. At first, they were ignored. Then, one by one, people started dying at the exact moments written on the notes. Nobody knew where the papers came from. The article ended abruptly. No follow-ups, no national attention. It was like the story had been buried. Ava looked at Liam. What if it's the same thing? First paper, now digital. Whatever this is, it's evolving. Liam felt a cold weight settle in his chest. And we're next. Before they could keep searching, Ava's phone buzzed. A notification popped up. Not from a messaging app, from Death Time. She tapped it. The screen displayed a new message. Stop digging. Then it closed on its own. No sound. No warning, just a message. Liam's phone buzzed too. He looked down. Same notification. Same words. Liam dropped his phone as if it burned him. It landed screen down on the carpet, silent again. Ava stood frozen, staring at her screen. Liam, she said, voice trembling. That wasn't a bug, that was a threat. He nodded slowly. It knew we were researching, it's watching us. They didn't speak for a long time. Finally, Ava broke the silence. We have to get rid of it, not just delete it. Destroy. Smash the phone, throw it in a lake, whatever it takes. Would that even work? Liam asked. Chris tried deleting it. You tried. iFactory reset mine and it came back like nothing happened. Maybe it needs the device, Ava said. Maybe if the device is gone, it can't count down anymore. It was a desperate theory, but at that moment, desperation was all they had. They drove to the edge of town. Ava borrowed her brother's bike while Liam took his dad's old car. They met at the woods behind Briar Creek, near the old quarry where kids used to sneak off to swim in the summer. It was cold now. Early, evening sky darkening. The wind howled through the bare trees. Here goes nothing, Ava said. She pulled her phone from her pocket. The screen lit up instantly. Death Time opened without a touch. Days, 23 hours, 41 minutes, 12 seconds. The numbers pulsed once, like a warning. Liam grabbed a large rock from the ground and held it up. You ready? Ava nodded. He brought it. Down hard. The phone shattered in one hit. Glass splintered, metal bent. The screen cracked completely, light flickering once before fading into black. They both let out a breath. Then Liam took his phone out and did the same. Days. 7 hours, 16 minutes, 45 seconds. Smash. Another burst of glass and light, and then nothing. They stared at the broken pieces for a long time. Ava was the first to speak. What now? We go home, Liam said. See if it worked. They left, the quarry behind, and parted ways at the edge of the woods. Liam felt strangely lighter. Maybe it really was over. Maybe whatever it was couldn't work without the phone. He got home, showered, and sat at his desk. The space where his phone usually charged was empty, a small relief. He turned on his laptop to check messages from Ava. She hadn't texted yet. Maybe she was still biking home. Then the screen blinked. A single red notification appeared, not on a browser, not from any messaging app. It was floating in the middle of his desktop like it was part of the operating system. It read, "You can't. Destroy time." His laptop shut itself off. Liam sat back in his chair, heart racing. A minute later, the doorbell rang. He jumped, walked slowly down the stairs. His parents weren't home yet, still at dinner with friends. He peeked through the window. No one. Was there just an envelope? He opened the door, picked it up, and took it inside. No name. No address. Just a symbol on the front. A cracked hourglass drawn in black ink. Inside was a small slip of paper. It said, days, 7 hours, 2 minutes, 03 seconds. It matched the exact moment his app had displayed before he smashed the phone. Liam dropped the paper. Something had followed them. It didn't need the app anymore. By the next morning, everything had changed. Liam arrived at school early, but as he walked the halls, something felt off. He passed students with pale faces, red-rimmed eyes, clutching their phones like lifelines. Every few seconds, someone would glance down, check their screen, and whisper their remaining time to a friend like it was a weather forecast. 2 days and 4 hours. Mine ends on Sunday. I only have 11 minutes left. Liam stopped mid-step. 11 minutes, he whispered. A girl sat on the floor against a locker, her knees tucked to her chest. Her hands trembled around her phone. She couldn't have been older than 15. A small crowd gathered at a distance, not mocking, not laughing, just watching, waiting. Liam turned and hurried to find Ava. She was already in the library, flipping through old newspapers and documents. I got one. 2, she said the moment she saw him. The envelope? She nodded, eyes haunted. It knew my time to the second, even without the phone. Liam sat beside her. This thing, it's spread past the app. People are getting physical countdowns now. It's like the whole town is infected. It's not just our town, Ava said. It's everywhere. She turned her laptop to show a map, a world map filled with blinking red dots, cities, towns, remote villages. All of them lit up. Someone created a live tracker based on social media posts, she said. Anytime someone mentions getting a countdown, digital or physical, it logs the location. The entire world was lighting up like a virus map. Look at the title, she added. Liam read it aloud. The world clock is broken. Ava pointed to a small caption in the corner. That's the name people are giving it now. Some say it's punishment. Others think it's a prophecy. But the scariest thing? What? Some people want their countdowns to reach 0. They think it leads to peace or enlightenment. Liam leaned back in his chair, a deep chill crawling over his spine. Cult stuff, he muttered. Exactly, she said. One of the threads I found has over 10,000 users. They're calling it the Great Reset. They believe the app is just the beginning, that soon we'll all be recalled. Liam shook his head. It's like the town flipped upside down overnight. It's not just the town anymore. Outside, a siren wailed in the distance. Another one, closer, joined it. Then an alert blared from the school intercom, something about early dismissal due to safety concerns. Students began filing out quietly as if on autopilot. Liam and Ava grabbed their stuff and left too. As they stepped outside, they saw a strange sight. People were gathered in the park across from the school. Dozens of them, all holding phones, all watching timers. Some were crying, others were praying. One man was smiling, arms spread wide like he was welcoming something invisible. Then, at exactly 11:03 a.m., a woman in the crowd collapsed. No warning. No noise. Just gone. And everyone else just nodded as if it had been expected. Liam grabbed Ava's hand. We need to get out of here. They ran, not toward home, but toward the outskirts of town, away from phones, away from countdowns, away from the growing belief that death was not only predictable, but meant to be followed. The trees made them feel safe. Maybe it was the lack of cell towers. Maybe it was the hush of nature, untouched by screens or signals. Or maybe it was just the illusion of distance from people, from time, from death. Ava and Liam didn't speak for a while. They just walked, backpacks slung over their shoulders, crunching fallen leaves beneath their shoes. They'd packed quickly, some snacks, water, flashlights, and a pair of old camping blankets from Ava's garage. The forest near Black Ridge Trail was thick and remote. No one went there much anymore, not since a mudslide took out part of the path 2 years back. That's why they chose it. They found a spot just off the trail, a small clearing hidden by pines. The ground was soft and dry, the canopy thick enough to block the sky. They set up a rough shelter and made a small fire. It almost felt normal. Almost. That night, Liam stared up at the dark branches above them. He could barely see the stars. How much time do you have left? Ava asked quietly. He hesitated. A little under 2 days. I've got 5. Liam exhaled slowly. That's enough time to figure something out. Ava didn't reply right away. I don't think this is something we can outsmart, she said. Not anymore. But maybe we can choose how we spend it. Liam looked at her. You're giving up? No, she said. I'm letting go. They sat in silence, listening to the wind stir the trees. In the morning, they woke to birdsong and fog. No phone alarms, no digital countdowns, just air and earth. They gathered more wood, refilled their bottles from a nearby stream, and talked about everything but the app. School, old crushes. What they'd do if none of this had happened. I wanted to be a filmmaker, Ava said, poking the fire. You? Architect, Liam said. Or maybe a drummer. I was never good at either, though. Still better than dying with nothing. But an app on your screen. They laughed, even though it wasn't funny. That evening, Liam pulled something from his backpack, the paper envelope. He'd brought it by accident, had shoved it in with his other stuff in a rush, the cracked hourglass. Stared up at him again. He pulled out the note. Day. 2 hours, 17 minutes, 41 seconds. Ava leaned over. It's still counting. I don't know. Maybe. But it hasn't changed since yesterday. She frowned. It's like time's frozen out here. They stayed up late, staring at the fire. No nightmares, no messages, just silence. But when Liam woke the next morning, something had changed. Ava was gone. Her backpack was still there. Her blanket too, but no sign of her. He called out her name. No answer. He searched the clearing, then the trail, then the nearby woods. Nothing. And when he returned to camp, he saw it, propped up against her backpack, a paper envelope. Liam picked it up with shaking hands. Inside was a note. It didn't have a countdown, just a message. Time always finds you. Liam didn't run. He didn't scream. He just sat down in the dirt, holding the note Ava left behind. The fire had long gone cold. The birds had stopped singing. He was alone. He stayed in the forest until night fell again, hoping she might return. That maybe she had just gone to get help, or maybe she was trying to outrun her countdown. But deep down he knew. Time had found her. Now it was coming for him. He lit a final fire and watched it flicker. No phone, no timer, just the envelope in his pocket, reminding him how much time remained. But hours. He thought about his parents, his little sister, the friends who still hadn't believed this was real. He thought about Ava's quiet strength, her steady voice in the chaos. Then he closed his eyes. When he woke, it was morning. The air felt different, still, as if the world was holding its breath. Liam packed his things and began walking. No trail, no map, just his instincts. Eventually he found a road, then a parked truck, then a gas station. It was open but empty. The shelves were half-stocked, the lights flickering. He wandered through, took a bottle of water, and sat near the window. The cashier had left a note on the counter, left to say goodbye to my mom. Liam stared at the ticking wall clock. 12:03 p.m. He had about 3 hours left. As he sat there, someone entered. A boy about his age, wearing a hoodie and scuffed boots. He looked around, saw Liam, and gave a small nod. "You too?" the boy asked. Liam nodded. "How long?" "Couple hours," Liam said. "Same." The boy sat across from him on the floor. They didn't exchange names. They didn't need to. Just two strangers, waiting out time. Eventually the boy stood. "I'm gonna spend the rest walking home. Seems like the right way to go." Liam nodded. "Safe travels." The boy smiled faintly. "You too, man. Whatever this is, maybe it's not the end. Just a turn." He left. Liam stayed. When the clock reached 2:17 p.m., he stepped outside and faced the sky. Clouds drifted slowly overhead. A breeze lifted the edge of his shirt. His heart pounded, not in fear, but with strange calm. A car passed in the distance. A bird flew across the sky. Then, nothing. No crash, no pain, just breath. Stillness. Liam blinked. He was alive. He pulled the envelope from his pocket, his fingers trembling. The note still read, "Day, 2 hours, 17 minutes, 41 seconds. But it hadn't changed. It hadn't ended. He looked around. No sign of anything, no voice, no shadows. Time had not found him, or maybe he had passed through it. Liam didn't return home right away. For hours he walked. Through fields, across roads, down quiet. Streets with drawn curtains and locked doors. Everything felt slower now, softer, like the world had exhaled. He kept checking for signs. News headlines, people on porches. Anything that would prove what he'd felt wasn't just in his head. But the world hadn't changed. He had. No more. Ticking in his chest. No more invisible weight pressing on his shoulders. His countdown had passed and he was still here. It was almost sunset when he finally reached his neighborhood. The streets were quiet. A few people stood outside their houses, looking around with confused expressions, like they were waking from a strange dream. A neighbor across the street caught Liam's eye. She stared at him a moment too long, then slowly held up her phone. It was off. She shrugged, mouthed something like, "It's gone," and went back inside. Liam sat on his front steps and looked up at the sky. The clouds were pink and gold, touched by the last rays of the sun. For the first time in days, he allowed himself to hope. He opened his bag and took out the envelope again, still the same. Day, 2 hours, 17 minutes, 41 seconds. But now it was just paper dead harmless. He stood and went inside. His parents weren't home. He left them a note. Then, after a long shower, he collapsed into bed and slept like he hadn't in weeks. When he woke, it was morning. His phone was still broken, but his laptop turned on fine. No warnings. No app, no countdown, just a blinking cursor. He opened his messages. A new one from Ava. Liam froze, then clicked. It was a photo. Her, alive, standing at the edge of a cliff with the sunrise behind her. The message read, "Somehow I'm still here. Too. Let's meet soon. We've got a story to tell." Liam smiled, and for the first time since the countdown began, he didn't feel afraid of time. He felt grateful for it, because maybe the app had never been about death. Maybe it had been a reminder, a warning to live.